Several months ago, I made this box, and the video is called Gift Box. And I'm going to be making at least 6 more, maybe more. This time I'm going to use camphor. I absolutely hate the smell of camphor. Some people like it, but they've never worked in a wood shop where that camphor is being milled. This shop smells, but the project shall go on. Now I'm going to lay out all this wood and see if I can make 6 boxes out of this stack. It's amazing how little working wood you end up with when you mill down slabs of wood. It always amazes me. One of the problems with milling your own wood for these projects is the amount of waste that you create. Only a couple of these boards am I able to cut in half for the part that I'm working on, and all of these boards are thicker than they need to be, so there's going to be a significant amount of waste, and that's part of woodworking, I guess, but I still hate wasting. But considering that I really hate working with camphor, it's a nice wood to work with physically, but the smell is so bad, I don't mind wasting this to get rid of it. Okay, I have all the sides done or dadoed out and all the ends dadoed. One small problem: when I adjusted my dado to make the centerpieces a little bit thinner to accommodate and be not super tight, it left over a little gap here. So what I'm going to do is cut that off. I made a stop block on my bandsaw, and what I did on the test piece is I made sure it stopped, and I just ran it sideways like this, and ran to the next one sideways. Now this is off of the dado blade, and I don't know if you can really see that too well, but each one of those dados has a slight curve to it. It might show it better on this one here. But then after I did my treatment, nice and square. All right, the glue up is complete. We're all clamped up. And I wasn't terribly worried about getting glue on the outside because most of the outside is going to be cut away anyways. I made this quick jig to mark the curve. So I created the curve that I wanted on the top of the box. And then I put a little fence on the back. So then all I have to do is put the jig up and get there, make sure it's flat. And then I can mark the top of the box nicely. Works out all right. So when I did the glue up, I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. And I glued it up before I had all the parts cut out and shaped properly. I didn't have the bottom shape or the top. And it would have been a lot easier if I would have had this top done before. But it is what it is. I made a mistake. So what I'm going to do is on the bandsaw, I'm just going to go ahead and shape it as best I can, but I'm going to leave away from the line and then sand to the line later. I forgot to record me doing the bevel on the sides of the boxes. You know, I could have said like all other YouTubers, I don't know what happened to the footage. I know what happened to the footage. It didn't get recorded. So all I did was I angled the table saw blade at 4 degrees, and then I took an ever so slight cut, slight enough that it only took ever shaving off the top of the sides. And then I went and sanded. And I sanded. And I sanded. And I'm tired of sanding. Who isn't? I have the box's bottoms done, and now it's time to work on the lids. So what we're going to have to do is I want to cut a notch in the bottom of the box lid so it can sit down on top of the box and not fall off if somebody picks up the box. And then also I'm going to have to round off the top of the lids. So first step is I'm going to notch the bottom, and I'm going to use my tenoning jig to do this. And what I did was I numbered the lids 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the tenoning jig is not low enough to hold the lid in place. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use 2 lids so that the clamp on the tenoning jig will hold both in place. So here we go. Now all I have to do is refine the curves on the lids, make the handles for them, and then these boxes will be ready for finishing. Sounds like not much work to do. That's probably another day or so's worth of work. Weird, huh? I do not like the fit of the lid on these boxes. There is a rock to them. I can't seem to quite normalize out. So I know my wife is going to just say it's just fine.
It's just fine.
But to me, it's not. So what I'm going to do is I got a piece of wood and I put some 50 grit sandpaper on it. And I'm just going to flatten this, and it won't take much. I'm just going to flatten it, and we'll see if I can make this work better. The sanding is completed, and I saved you the pain of watching me do it. It was a lot of sanding. So now I need to make some sort of tab for the top, and I'm going to just make a tab that's out of this black walnut right here. Alright, the glue has dried, and now it is to do the reveal of the handles and decide which is the front and appropriately design what I'm going to do with them. The boxes are completed. They came out very nice in my opinion. I really like how the wood burning came out. Each design is slightly different, especially on the lids. And all the insides look nice and pretty. Finally, just remember, after every woodworking project, you should always count your fingers. You end with 10, good job. This box is especially special. I made a mistake. I don't know if you really can see it, but I left the pencil markings on it. I forgot to wipe it off on this one, and I'd already sprayed it with polyurethane. So that little piece of notation will be forever engraved on this box.